Welcome everyone to the first official episode of The Sound Cave. I'm your host, Blake Losi, and today we're going to be breaking down some of the music that you've seen in every major motion picture. So today's episode, we are going to be focusing on Interstellar. Directed by Christopher Nolan, and the film's score is composed by the legendary composer Hans Zimmer, who previously, you might know him from the Dark Knight series. He composed that score. And the score was released around 2014 on November 17th. What I find so interesting about Interstellar's soundtrack, it's very repetitive, but also it's very ambient, because it uses a lot of repeating piano rhythms, and that are so simple, but yet they give life to the timeless theme of Interstellar, which is ambience, really. It also uses a lot of, like I said, a lot of piano rhythms. It has a lot of synthesized chords that really drive the narrative, and it's a really emotional film, really. My personal experience watching this film, the music brought me to tears, honestly, because it is so, not to get into the theme too much here, but it's like gravitating almost, because Hans Zimmer makes it so it's simple but effective. And I wish I could play some samples of the music. Maybe we'll get that for next show. The label that produced this soundtrack is Water Tower, and it was recorded on October 2012 to 2014 in Lyndhurst Hall, Air Studios, London Temple Church, and in London. And of course, the producers, Christopher Nolan, Hans Zimmer, and Alex Gibson. Also, if you didn't know Hans Zimmer before, you may recognize his scores from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which released in 2014, and Chappie. Both are amazing films, which released in 2015. I really like this score. It's really moving, and it really drives the narrative of the emotions you see in the characters, and how they bring out how time is slowly picking up over the course of the film, because they're getting further away from Earth. And if you haven't seen the film, I would go watch it right now, because you're about 7 years too late to see it. But it is a really spectacular film of its time. And the theme I like most about Interstellar, or the musical theme about it, is the constant ticking sound. It's a slow and steady beat that I wish I could play it, but it's simple. It starts out like, and then over time you get some really nice bass chords that fill in the ambience, and really gives it some tension almost. It's like yes, time is ticking as we're trying to escape this desolate planet, but it's also picking up. So the constant theme of time is probably the best way I would describe it, because it's always moving. It's always getting more tense. And the chords that are just used in this film are absolutely beautiful, paired with the amazing storytelling, and the cinematography is phenomenal. And Hans Zimmer is one of my favorite composers, actually, due to legendary work in cinematography, like The Dark Knight, where he utilized the space around him. Like, I'm utilizing these four walls to convey the show to you. So Hans Zimmer, basically what he did with The Dark Knight, just a side note, he took 4 French horns, or he took 8 French horns, 4 on the right, 4 on the left. He put them up above the orchestra in the banisters of the auditorium. And they basically, that 2-note theme in The Dark Knight, it's really gravitating, because it's like 2 notes, just even 2 notes in a score can make so much of a difference in how they're played. And going back to Interstellar, like I said, with the repeating piano rhythms, it's so simple, but yet so effective, because really you're in the dead of space, nothing much is happening. But when, let's just, for example, when they're going up to the black hole, the music starts to pick up because they're getting closer to the black hole. They're getting sucked further in to the vacuum. And it's such an amazing score. And I will try to get some samples for next episode. But Hans Zimmer also utilizes key instruments very well, like I said, with the French horns in the Dark Knight soundtrack. He also utilizes the French horns in the Amazing Spider-Man soundtrack. If you know that score, it brings out the most heroic moments of Andrew Garfield's character, Spider-Man. And some rhythms just really just make you want to like fist bump the air, like, yes, this is the moment right here. Because in music, sometimes you have to pull back and wait for the proper moment to be like, yes, here I am, and like, yes, I'm here now, and like, this is the moment right here, and no one can stop me until I finally simmer down at the end. And with The Amazing Spider-Man, that's pretty much like, it's plastered into the score, because it's the story about Peter Parker, like, fighting crime. It's Spider-Man. It's a really amazing movie. And it just brings out those heroic moments. It's a perfect score along with Interstellar. But Interstellar is much more of an emotional film, in my opinion, because, like I said, there are so simple things in this film score, that really drive the narrative. And the narrative is really emotional. And to do that, you have to be subtle about it. And that's exactly what Hans Zimmer did. He took the same reoccurring theme of Interstellar, and he transformed it into 6 or 7 different variations, depending on what was going on in the film emotionally. And to be able to do that, to be able to take a common theme, like a common main theme of the film, and repurpose it for, I think the runtime for that film was 2 hours and 30 minutes. Let me check. While I'm looking this up, Slick, have you ever seen Interstellar?
Interstellar?
Yes.
Is that a space movie?
Yes.
I seen that space movie, but isn't it Sandra Bullock is in there?
No, that's Gravity.
That's Gravity.
Yeah.
Interstellar, no. It's about that space movie. I really haven't, to be honest with you. But I know space movies have that eerie music.
That's the word I was looking for. It's very eerie. It's very empty.
It's a very, like, I don't know, like, it's a trip, literally. So it all depends on how you take it. I think, like, that type of music is used for, like, healing places. I don't know. I know I hear a lot of chords, more chords than piano.
Yeah, chords from piano, synthesizers. It also uses organs, which I love the fact that they use organs in this film. It gives a real sense of scale of how time is being stretched like throughout the film, because the further away they get from Earth, the faster time like accelerates.
BS.
And it's a
I
really
should watch that.
yeah, it's a real race against time. It's what this movie is, even though the runtime is just shy of 3 hours. But
No, it's okay. Justice League was 4. So.
yeah, I still haven't seen Justice League.
Justice League was 4.
Maybe I'll get to that this weekend, and we'll see.
Yeah, Justice League was 4 hours. I'll have to get to Mortal Kombat this weekend.
Oh yeah,
Mortal Kombat this week. You can't be watching Justice League when Mortal Kombat. That's disgusting. But okay, Mortal Kombat this weekend, guys. Who are you going for? I'm going for Scorpion. That's it. Mortal Kombat Scorpion's a good guy. Everybody knows that.
but yeah. Just some facts about the film. Just some side notes. The budget. The budget's crazy. The budget was $165 million to make it, which is pretty nuts at the time. But the cumulative worldwide gross income that they got from this movie was $701 million. That's crazy. So, and opening weekend, they made around $47 million. Opening weekend, that's crazy. $47 million.
People want to go into space.
Yeah.
People want to go into space, man. They want to be the spaceman. Not me, man. I'm sorry. I didn't explore all of Earth yet to say I want to go into space. For real.
But this score actually is pretty relative to. The score is pretty relative to the work of Philip Glass in a film called, I'm going to butcher this, Koensikatsi of 1982.
Is it a French name? Coincidence.
I think so. Yeah. So it's his score basically of Interstellar is paired with heavy organ and piano, mixed with unreveling like silence. And silence obviously is to represent the emptiness of the void that they
Hold.
shot themselves into.
Yeah.
And the heavy organ music and the steady click of time is to represent the time is ticking like faster and faster. Because I think it was every hour, I forgot which planet they were on, but I think every hour, I think 2 or 5 years passed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like I said, it's heavy church organ, and to have that's something not commonly seen in space operas, really, like huge organs that are just blasting they're just blasting major and minor chords. It's really fascinating because it gets you immersed into the film more. And honestly, it helps you cooperate in feeling those emotions the film is trying to set, because certain chords can, strike certain emotional chords, depending on your preference, really. And we all have that one song or that one piece of music that really just I would say hits home pretty well. And it just unlocks a certain part of our soul that's like, wow, this is actually it's like breathtakingly beautiful. some of the favorite, or some of my favorite tracks from that film. Where was it? So the total length of the soundtrack is actually 71 minutes and 47 seconds. So again, that's basically taking the film's main theme. I think it's called, I forget what it's called. I think it's called Dreaming of the Crash. Or it's Stay is one of them. Stay is one of those themes that's very stretched out, and it occurs in a very emotional part of the film. That's when should I spoil it?
You should.
It's been 7 years.
Yeah. Spoil it.
So, if I remember correctly, Stay is where Stay plays within the film, where Cooper, played by Matthew McConaughey, that is when Cooper is already in the black hole, and he is entering, I think what they were calling it, the fifth dimension. And he was trying to figure out how gravity affected time. And he was trying to signal to his daughter Murph that he was still alive, really, because she had no idea he was still alive by that time. And the only way like he could communicate with her was through the concept of time. And that somehow transformed it. It's a really weird concept. I would just go watch it yourself and it would it would make more sense than I'm trying to explain it. But Stay is one of those themes that, like I said, it's stretched out, and it really takes the main theme into a more emotional approach, because he's basically shouting into the void, trying to reach his daughter Murph, and she can't hear him at all. And there was no promise of him making it home, or that's what he felt at the time. So he was trying to signal to her or call to her, but I think that's where that was in the film. And so for those who don't know what it's about, basically the Earth is going through another dust bowl, and it's really threatening and dangerous. So basically what their plan was, okay, we need to, this world is dying basically, so we need to go find a new one. So they basically have been developing a space program, like a secret space program, to go find a new world, a new habitable Earth. And like I said, the score is just simply amazing. Like it's a perfect score, honestly, to like fall asleep to, I feel. A step, yeah. Especially with tracks such as Stay, or A Place Among the Stars, or even Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night. That was a short theme. It was about 1 minute and 37 seconds. Of course, the poem is by Dylan Thomas, and it was recited by John Lithgow, Ellen Burstyn, Casey Affleck, Jessica Chastain, Matthew McConaughey, and Mackenzie Foy. No Time for Caution. Yes, No Time for Caution is the not the reoccurring theme, the constant tick of time. That's my favorite. That's probably my favorite track of the entire soundtrack is No Time for Caution, because it starts off pretty subtle with the constant click of time. It sounds like a hand on a clock. If you listen closely to a hand of a clock, like the ticking sound. And slowly it begins to build up as they're trying to leave the planet. And it's representing, again, the ticking of time, how fast it's ticking compared to how fast it's actually ticking on Earth. Again, followed by the ticking sound is the bass chords that, like the real heavy bass chords that come in, followed by the heavy organs, the pianos, and it's one big like catastrophe, but it's also like magnificent. And it's all of it builds up from just the clock ticking. It's amazing. So No Time for Caution is probably the one I recommend most. Yeah, so like I said, No Time for Caution. Go check that out. I think you can actually buy the soundtrack. I know I'm going to get it on, I'm going to try and get the soundtrack on vinyl so I can listen to it. And yeah, I would definitely, this is by far one of my favorite soundtracks of all time, even though it's a movie from 7 years ago, but of its time, it's probably, the soundtrack of Interstellar is way ahead of its time in 2014 because it's just so, it's subtle but beautiful at the same time because it takes that reoccurring theme and just loops it and manipulates it and even transforms it in ways that no one could expect when first watching it. It's a lot of variations on the theme, but they work really well together. But yeah, definitely check out Interstellar if you haven't seen it yet. Yeah, thank you all for watching, and we will. I hope you tune in next week to to hear me talk, to hear me break down more films, and to break down more films and their magnificent scores. And I will be doing the same with game soundtracks as well. There's going to be a few surprises. So yeah, I'll see you next week. Cheers.